fun keeping up.
Someone's happy.
Weapons restrictions lifted.
There we go. Thanks for the help. There we go. There we go.
Hey, Sam. You could probably get that bike running again if you charged it with a generator. Why not give it a try?
Beginning scan.
Name's
Scanning
Sam.
Bridges ID. Verifying ID. Clear. Weapons detected. All weapons will be locked until departure. Cargo verified. Thank you.
Okay, so just before we go in, I think we've got a couple of emails to read. This one was first. From Nick Easton, still alive, new guy. Sam, how you doing out there? For a newbie, you're quite the workhorse, huh? Thumbs up. Timefall's probably taken its toll on your equipment, am I right? Maybe some of your kit's not even usable anymore. Well, don't jump the gun and throw that stuff away just yet. Laughing face. One thing you can do is take your old equipment to a delivery terminal and recycle it. You can then fabricate yourself a shiny new whatever to use instead. Don't know if you're aware, but the whole recycling system is operated by the Bridget Strand Foundation. That's right, the president herself set it up as a means to convert busted tools and gear back into usable resources. On the other hand, if your equipment's only halfway to broke, but you still want to part ways, you could use a share locker to donate it to another porter whose need is greater than yours. You may well end up getting a like or two for your generosity. Never mind the warm fuzzy feeling of having helped your fellow man. Thumbs up, prayer, high five. Of course, the system works both ways, means you can snag stuff other porters have put in share lockers too, if you're the one who could do with a helping hand. Anyway, both the recycling system and the share lockers have their uses, and it's up to you to pick which method best suits your needs at any given moment. You've still got a lot to learn, I guess, but you'll have it all figured out in no time. I've got high hopes for you, kid. Smiley face, lots of thumbs up. Again from Nick Easton. How are your porter grades these days, Sam? I'm sure you're aware that trying to account for all 5 factors is a basic premise. But if you're anything like me, you just want to deliver as much stuff as you can, am I right? If so, you could always just load yourself up with a massive haul and aim for a Bridges bonus for total cargo weight. Nothing wrong with a simple approach. Laughing face. Of course, in the good old easier, roads were much better back then, so all you had to do was chuck all your stuff in the back of a truck and go for a drive. Can't do that now, though, even if you've got a truck. They're usually more trouble than they're worth. Hell, sometimes you'll see them just sitting on the side of the road, locked and abandoned. Crying face. Anyway, on the bright side, since lugging big loads of cargo is so hard these days, folks are really grateful when a porter manages it, hence the bonuses. Here at the distro centre, for example, we have to make sure we've got plenty of food and materials in stock, which means we have to make every delivery count. I dread to think what would happen if we run out of supplies. Crying face. Well, I've said my piece, and now you know how to make yourself popular around these parts. Stack your cargo high.
Keep on keeping on. Keep on keeping on. Decontaminating suit. All clear. Keep on keeping on. Welcome, Sam Porter Bridges.
You brought this from the wind farm? I can't imagine what a chore that must have been. Thank you. Wow, don't do things by halves, do you? Hard to believe one man could bring in a hole this big. Then again, you are a legend. I don't know anyone who's done more to bring people together and get them back on their feet. It's hard to believe you're just one guy. Can't help wondering if the Great Deliverer isn't actually a small army. Because it sure seems like whenever someone's in trouble, you're there to lend a hand. It's enough to make me think you just might make it all the way to the coast. Good luck out there. I'll be rooting for you.
Good work. New order available. Please access delivery terminal for further information. Your work is greatly appreciated. Good morning, Sam.
Okay, so a few more mails. From Jake Wind. Right, at the wind farm, okay. Hard work's paying off. Dear Sam, I wonder where you are right now. If it's somewhere powered by a wind farm, if anyone should be benefiting from our work, it's you. Until you brought us into the network, we could only provide power to a small region. Now we can send it to all the big cities and beyond. Laughing face. I'm still not 100% on the details, but basically transmitting it via the beach means we don't suffer any additional loss due to increased distances, so it can go as far as we need it to. Good thing we kept the faith in the second expedition and kept this place properly maintained. You made our efforts worthwhile. We can't thank you enough. Benjamin Hancock. The meaning of chirality. Laughing face. Dear Sam, sorry you had to go to the trouble of chasing down that part for us, but believe me, you've done us a great service. Thanks to you, our chiral printer's finally up and running. Didn't think it would ever happen, if I'm honest. But it did, and now we don't have to rely on porters as much as before. We can make a lot of what we require with our printer, and if we need intel on the outside world, it's right there at our fingertips. On behalf of myself and everybody else here at the Distro Center, thanks. None of this would have been possible without you. Funny story, the other day I was using the network to read up on the word chiral and where it comes from. Turns out it's Greek, means hand. Bet you didn't know that, did you? Kinda did. The text went on about how your right hand is a mirror image of your left, but only if you put your palms together. And if you point them away and lay one hand on top of the other, well, that's chirality. That's how I understood it anyhow. What's it got to do with the network? I'm not really sure. Something about routing communications through the beach, which is basically another world like ours, but not really. So when you force elements of the two into contact, that triggers a void out. Anyway, all I know is that while I hope you keep on doing what you do to bring us together, you best leave the dead out of it, here. These seem to be increasing. Okay, we're gonna make our peas and poops.
Oh.
What the world looked like hundreds of millions of years ago. It was just one big continent. And do you know what this is? The moon. I'll show you the real thing soon. I promise. The whole wide world will be yours to explore. You'll be able to go wherever you want. Even the moon.
Hey,
By handing over excess materials to a facility, you can increase the amount stored on site. Now, these materials can then be used later for equipment fabrication and so forth. Just remember that each facility has separate stores and that the amount on hand differs from site to site. Don't get carried away.
Order assigned.
The Capital Knot Distro Center's holding some cryptobiotes we need delivered to the city. Cryptobiota cells can accelerate blood production in humans. They may well be the hardiest organisms on Earth, capable of enduring more physiological stress than any other. In harsh conditions, a cryptobiote will eventually enter an metabolic state in a bid to survive. Unfortunately, shoving a bunch into a shipping container or submerging them in water for an extended period of time is enough to trigger this response. It takes weeks to coax them back to life if they're allowed to fully transition to this state. So you can't keep them cooped up for long. Make sure to reach Capital Knot City before it's too late. For this retrieval order, you'll be hunting down a book. An old-school printed-on-paper book, the kind that predates the Stranding. Even before the world went to shit, most were published in digital formats only. It's rare to find one intact these days. Apparently, this particular book was the work of researchers who may have anticipated the Stranding. It was en route to Hartman when it was taken. Mules, according to Waystation staff, in case you hadn't guessed. The book's no different from any other cargo to them. But to us, it's priceless. Get it back, ASAP. This is a somewhat unusual order. You're going to want to review the key points in the summary.
That's a breathable container, remember? For its passengers' sake, don't immerse it in water.
Order assigned. Deliver.